Welcome back to Face the State. Testing is an important tool to fight COVID, and so is contact tracing. Now our phones can actually help us let others know if they may need to get tested or quarantined. Governor Lamont's Chief Operating Officer, Josh Geballe, joins us this morning. He talked about a new technology this week, and he's here to share with us all the new details of that. Good morning.
Good morning, Susan.
Good morning. I understand that you've had some talks with Apple and Google. Can you share with us how this would work on your phone and how people can alert others if they have a concern and maybe those people should get tested?
Sure. Well, as you mentioned, Apple and Google, normally fierce competitors. In the COVID era, people work together, and they've been working together to create a new protocol that enables our phones to become tools to help us know if we've been in close contact with someone who's been diagnosed with COVID. So when we roll this out later this month, what will happen is you can basically turn on functionality in your phone, and it'll keep track anonymously through your Bluetooth technology of who you've been around and for how long. And if one of those people tests positive, you'll get an alert that warns you that you may have been exposed and gives you instructions about what you should do. So this doesn't replace traditional contact tracing. It's still the first line of defense. But this is just another additional tool that we can provide the people of Connecticut to help them stay safe.
So it is anonymous. Is it an app that's actually installed on your phone? Is that how it works?
So it's a little bit different whether you have an Apple phone or an Android-based phone. For Apple, you just go in your settings and you turn on the functionality. You don't even have to download another app. For Android, there is a little app that you have to download, but it's very simple and easy, just a couple of clicks to get it set up.
I always like to think Connecticut is new with everything, but apparently this is being done in England and in Wales, and there have been some kinks. Apparently people have been notified erroneously, falsely notified that they didn't need to be worried, and people were actually quarantining themselves. So how do you work that out? How can that be fixed?
Yes, well, this is one of the reasons that we chose not to be an early adopter on this technology. Because it is brand new, we decided to focus on the kind of bread and butter traditional contact tracing, where we've stood up a brand new statewide system for that. And for this, we decided to let some other states and countries kind of work out the kinks for us, and you alluded to some of them. But we're at the point now where we're confident that the technology is solid, that the privacy protections are robust. That was a critical requirement for us as well. This needs to be anonymous, and the apps do not track your location. They do not track your identity. So we wanted to make sure all those privacy protections were really stress tested as well before we brought it to the people of Connecticut.
So if all goes well and the kinks are worked out, when could we see this working here in Connecticut?
We're aiming to go live with this towards the end of this month, and we'll certainly have lots of big announcements and instructions for people about how to set it up at that time.
Right. Well, I have you here. I wanted to talk about the governor's decision to hire an outside firm, the Boston Consulting Group, to help find ways to streamline state government and save, I believe, $500 million. How is that going? And, these are such tough times with COVID, and we're already bare-boned. I know state government is down quite a bit from the prior administration. So how can that work and still people can count on the services that they get now?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. So as folks may know, the state of Connecticut is facing a significant wave of retirements in the coming year and a half. It's estimated that as many as a quarter of our state workforce will retire by the middle of 2022. So that's a huge risk for the state, as you allude to. A lot of institutional knowledge, a lot of skill and experience will be leaving. But we're also viewing it as a huge opportunity to relook at how we do some things in the state, how we provide services, and identify ways that we can better use technology, that we can work together across agencies more efficiently. And we are optimistic that there are significant opportunities for improved efficiency, which, knowing the budget deficits that we're going to be facing going forward, it's really important for us to do that work now, recognizing, as you also point out, this will not all be implemented while we're still in the middle of COVID, right? This COVID, we're going to get through this. Some of these initiatives and projects may take 1 or 2 or 3 years to really implement. So we're doing the planning now, laying the groundwork now to really be ready to drive the efficiencies that we need in the years to come.
And I guess finally, the concern is that we're already seeing such high employment or unemployment rates in our state. We don't want to push more people on that payroll of the state to try to help that. So how do you prevent that? If you reduce government, where do those people go?
Sure. Well, the people that we're talking about would be people who are retiring. So, we're not talking about layoffs here. We're talking about the natural retirements that will occur and being in a position to need to refill, fewer of those jobs because we've been able to become more efficient. These are the types of actions that most people and their businesses around the state, the other 97% of the state workforce that does not work for the state of Connecticut, these are the things that they do every day. And we should expect the same of our state government. And that's what the governor's committed to driving forward.
Right. I know this is going to be a big challenge because I'm not even sure what the budget deficit is now. I've heard it's at least $2 billion and going up.
That's the current forecast for the fiscal year that we just started. Secretary McCaw and the governor have rolled out a set of deficit mitigation measures that we will use to help close some of that gap. But the reality is the revenue forecasts in particular are very volatile right now. People are not quite sure how this is going to play through the economy still. And so we're hopeful that those deficit forecasts are on the conservative side right now. And if we continue to reopen our economy safely and keep it reopened safely, that we'll be able to close some of that deficit naturally.
Certainly some challenges. Well, thank you for joining us on Face the State. We look forward to seeing you again, and I hope you work some of those kinks out. It sounds like it could be a good tool if it works.
Thanks, Susan. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. That's all the time we have here on Face the State. We thank you for sharing your Sunday morning with us, and we hope to see you again next week.